Welcome to the Vertical MRO Alerts, brought to you by Bell. Here's a quick look at notable service directives recently released from Bell Aircraft.
Welcome to the Bell MRO Alerts podcast presented by Bell. My name is Marc Dubé. I'm the Product Support Engineering Manager for Bell. I'm here today with Gilbert Gaudreault. Gilbert is the 407 product lead at Bell, responsible for relation between the program and the fielded fleet. I'm here today with Gilbert. We want to talk about the recently released Alert Service Bulletin, which is the 407-25-141. The subject for that Alert Service Bulletin is the Tailboom attachment bolt new airworthiness limitation. So just to briefly summarize, it's a fairly simple Alert Service Bulletin, which requires that customers replace the 4 attachment bolts of the tailboom every 5,000 hours, 6 years. Basically, what we want to do today is we want to discuss some questions that you may have or that we have already received from customers. And we kind of want to go over those and address those myself with Gilbert. So I guess, Gilbert, the first question is, why was the Chapter 4 revision published at the same time as the ASB 4725141?
So actually, it's a fairly typical process at Bell to publish both at the same times, because the ASB is introducing your new item in Chapter 4, where your airworthiness limitation, and it will give you some wiggle room where to start to count and everything. So that's why we're doing it this way. As specified in the compliance section of ASB 4725141, every 5,000 flight hours or 72 months, whichever occurred first, following the accomplishment of ASB 4724134 Rev 8 Part 4. So basically, the latest ASB 25141 provide the owner and operator when to start to count your tailboom attachment bolt, depending on your aircraft serial number.
All right. So you did mention the previously released ASB, and I think that's really important to understand that this new released ASB is in conjunction and is related to the previously released, so the 134 Rev 8. Both ASB kind of go together. Since we're talking about the previously released ASB, do have another question, which is, okay, I have an aircraft. My aircraft has more than 5,000 hours, 6 years. The attachment bolts have never been replaced, which typically would be required every time you replace a tailboom. But let's say the tailboom has never been removed from the aircraft. And also Part 4 of the ASB 4724134, the revision A, has not been done yet, meaning that we're still doing repetitive inspection. Should the bolts be replaced before next flight? Or is there any tolerance for completing the replacement? So basically replacing the bolts.
So if you didn't do the ASB 24134 Rev 8 Part 4 and the 25141, the replacement of the bolt was not done, you're not grounded, even if the Chapter 4 stated that you cannot have more than 5,000 hours. And the main reason for that is that you're still doing the recurring inspection per ASB 4724134 Rev. The initial Rev, which is the Part 2 and 3. So in Part 2, you needed to replace your upper left bolt every 300 hours, and the Part 3, you were doing the torque check. So because of these recurring inspection, it's safe to continue to flight until you do the Part 4, which is the terminating action. And you add 600 hours and 12 months to do the Part 4, PSB 24134, and it was starting in March 17, 2025. So you still have that margin to do it, which is kind of 600 hours.
So again, that's kind of specified, as you mentioned earlier, in the compliance section of the ASB 4725141. So we do specify it is following the accomplishment of the ASB 4724134 Rev 8 Part 4. that the 5,000 hours 6-year start to count. So thanks a lot for specifying that, Gilbert. The next question we have is, why will an inspection be added to Chapter 5? Because it does mention in this description section of the ASB that an inspection will be added to Chapter 5, even with the requirement from Chapter 4 for the tailboom attachment bolts replacement. So why add an inspection to Chapter 5 when we're already telling customers to replace the bolts in Chapter 4, basically?
The main reason for that is with Chapter 5, we want people to remove their tailboom every 5,000 hours and 5 years. So that way we will have a better inspection within that joint with the tailboom removed. It is fairly similar to the step that were in ASB 24-134, Part 4, which was to remove the tailboom, inspect both sides, replace the hardware, and put it back together. So the only thing different is that you don't have a gap check in the inspection in Chapter 5, which is coming. It's already asked to be integrated in your 4.7 MPI, but not completed yet. So it will be also fairly similar to the Bell medium aircraft. Every 5,000, 5 years, you need to remove your tailboom, inspect, and replace the upper left bolt and barrel nut. So that's fairly similar. And this inspection with tailboom remove will help detect discrepancy early on and may prevent expensive repair to the fuselage or the tailboom. Now that we have this mandatory bolt replacement while doing the inspection in the joint with tailboom remove, this will close pretty much the loop on the 4.7 tailboom attachment.
All right. So that kind of explains the requirement of Chapter 5 that will be added as we speak. They're not currently in yet, but they should be fairly soon in Chapter 5. And again, it's a visual inspection that you need to coordinate and at the same time, basically, that you replace your bolts per Chapter 4. That kind of concludes our discussion for today in regards to the recently released Alert Service Bulletin. Again, as usual, if you have any questions, if you need additional help, please do not hesitate to contact Bell Product Support Engineering at productsupport@bellflag.com. Or also you can call us. We have our phone numbers on our website at the bellflag.com website. Everything's available there. And thanks again, Gilbert, for being here with me today. And guys, keep flying Bell.
This has been a Vertical MRO Alert brought to you by Bell. As always, please make sure to look at the service directive for complete information.